So I went in for an annual inspection, ended up with a radiator. Trucking life. Sometimes I think I must be that truck's father because it's a continual disappointment. But that's not what I wanted to talk to you today about. No, I want to talk to you today about is financial security, but not in the way you think. There's a lot of pirates out here. There's a lot of hacks, and there's a lot of people stealing information all over the road. So we're going to talk about that, how to keep yourself safe, because these people out here, they'll take you for everything. Now, I've talked about the truck stop hustle before. That's kind of not what we're talking about, the scammers and all that. I did buy a tablet from a guy trying to say it was brand new one time. And I knew it was fake, but I just had to see how they did the scam. And he tried to hustle me and scam me and started being really nasty. And then he saw I had a gun. And we settled on a price very quickly. I'm going to pay him for his work. But, so, we're not talking about that, you know. And granted, these scams in the truck stops, these guys say tablets fell off the trucks, TVs and all that. If you got a guy coming up trying to sell you things that are pre-packaged and all that, trust me, it's a scam. And we all know it. Put these guys out of business. But I'm talking about what happens inside the truck stop. When you use your credit cards, your debit cards, your ATM cards, your gift cards, your cards for like your loyalty cards, those get scammed more than you think too. And it's important that you learn how to protect yourself, because if they can get into your phone, they can get into your bank account. Everybody uses their phone for everything. Guys, this is serious. It really doesn't matter what kind of antivirus software you have on your computer, on your phone, all of this other stuff, or what they say. If they can, statistically, when they develop a new software, within a week, week and a half, somebody's already defeated it. So let's start with your fuel cards. Your fuel cards can get hacked. And this is serious because you carry a lot of cash on those cards. Now, what do I mean by you carry a lot of cash? When you go fill up, you have these com data cards or your EFS, and there are always cash advances on it. Most companies will let you have $100 a week, some 2, 3, some it's unlimited. But this is the other thing. If you have a card that's pirated and guys can get fuel, they can not only take the cash off the card, they can take fuel off the card. So either they're putting that fuel into their tanks, or they're selling that fuel to their buddies at $1 or $2 a gallon. It's a real thing. So you have to watch that, especially if you have a com data. Now, com data cards are neat because you can use them in all sorts of different applications, including ATM cards. You know, they're expensive to use, but they do have a lot of benefits. But getting your com data card or your EFS card or whatever hacked is a real thing. It can cost you a lot of money. So it's very important to protect those cards. Now, your loyalty cards are the same way. Years ago, I was having problems with my Pilot Flying J card. Well, and what ended up happening was somebody had gotten a hold of my phone number. That's back when, if you didn't have your card, you could use your phone number. Well, guys were stealing all my showers. They were stealing my points. They were stealing, I mean, and I kind of had an idea who it was. I think it was somebody I knew. So what I ended up doing was changing the phone number, and just like that, it quit. I ended up changing it to my parents' phone number, something that nobody knew. So these are things you have to consider. Now, with all these apps and all that, I have, and I don't like doing it, but it's made it a lot easier. I have my EFS card hooked up to my Loves app, and the card and my loyalty card hooked up to that. I really don't like that, but Loves has become so crappy lately with their software that if you want to get fuel, sometimes, or it seems like more than lately, they're card readers aren't working at the pumps, and this is a way to get them going. But the other thing I have is I don't have any information on my phone, and I don't do any online banking. I'm going to tell you why. The problem with online banking is that when you have things that are automatic payments and automatic this and automatic that, now trust me, when I bought the truck I had to do it for that. But when you start paying for things on your phone and you start doing the tap pay and the Apple Pay and the Android Pay and all of those things like that, all that information is stored on your phone, and it's basically accessible wirelessly. So I've had my phone hacked. In fact, I had somebody start hacking it, started locking up and hacking and jumping, and the minute I hit stop, turned it off, and took that one app and completely erased it all, it was over like that. Knocked them out, changed my password immediately. Sometimes that's what you have to do. But what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of these things that people get hacked is through their email. If they can get in your email, which is easy, they can find out a lot of information about you. And all they need is that one little thing to worm in, like your automatic payment was for account ... this. Well, you put them into a randomizer and you can figure that number out fairly quickly, because nothing's quite as random as people think. So if they can get into that, that's why I don't do any online banking, and I don't do any online payments, because, well, I'm all over the road. If I was home all the time and I was doing it through one specific bank, it would be different. But the fact of the matter is, I'm all over the country, and my phone gets hit a lot, and my cards get hit a lot. So these are things that you have to realize and have to deal with. Now, your debit and credit cards, let's talk about those. First thing I'm going to tell you right now is stop using your debit card. If you need cash, the debit card's good for that at a trusted ATM. But get a credit card. That way it does not have direct access to your bank account. Because if they can get direct access to your bank account through your ATM card or your debit card, they can circumvent that. You're like, well, they can only get so much money per day. No, they can clean you out in an afternoon. And that's why you should always have a credit card. If you can't pay with it for cash, use a credit card, not your debit card, because your debit card is very easily hacked. I'll tell you what, I got my credit card or my debit card hacked at a Sonic. Luckily, they didn't get into my account, but it was compromised because I bought a cheeseburger. It's that easy. And so I literally get this phone call like a day later from my bank. The first thing I've got to do is, I said I went to the ATM, pulled cash out, called up the bank, shut it off, had them send me a new one. And then luckily I'm with a good company, and I said I might need some cash, I might not. You know, I told them what happened and they were cool with it. But it's these kind of things you have to watch. This wouldn't have happened with a credit card. Yeah, sure, even if they hack your credit card, chances are you're going to get fraud protection alerts. Or even if you don't and they hack it, they can only take so much, and that's things you can fight. So these are things to be mindful of, because the difference between a credit and a debit card is very real, and you need to be very leery of that. I know credit cards are scary and it's easy to overspend. Trust me, it's so easy to overspend. But if you do it right and you pay it off like you're supposed to, you're not going to have any problem. And trust me when I tell you, it's a whole lot safer with a credit than a debit. Now I understand that, trust me, I truly understand that you're going to have to pay some things online or over the phone. Now I prefer over the phone rather than online. Now, because you can authorize every individual payment no matter where you're at, I do not ever allow them to store the information. So it seems counterproductive, but every time I go in there, I authorize a one-time payment, and it's done and over with. But I don't ever let them store the credit card information. Now it sucks having to reload it every time over the phone, but it does keep me out of that gray area. The only thing, I do an e-check for my cell phone. I've been doing that for years, and that was kind of the only way I could do it over the road, which sucked. But I do have to call in every time and authorize a one-time payment. So I do it that way because I can't get to a kiosk to pay it every month like I used to. So there are ways to do it. And sometimes if you call up your financial institution and you need to make a payment with this, that, or the other thing, a lot of times you can just do it over the phone after a series of security questions. It's pretty easy. So I say you take care of that. I mean, there's a lot of money getting stolen out here, and we go all over the country. You know, you need to protect yourself. Look, I get it. The fact of the matter is, we need money out here. Credit card is a good way to do it, but you need access to your money. And that's why I carry a debit and a credit card, because my credit card, you can't pull cash off it. And I kind of like that. But when I use a debit card to pull cash off, I use them at very specific ATMs, and I always hide my numbers and all that just to make sure that nobody can see it. But you know, how you get your cash is something you need to work out with your financial institution, but you need to be able to have access to it. But you got to make sure that only you can get access to it, because like I said, I watched a guy, I remember a guy get a scam one time out here on the road, and it wasn't ingenious, but it was effective. Guy was just standing behind another guy with a tablet recording. The guy had his card in his hand, and he was just recording his card. He got the numbers off it, he got all of it, and sure enough, he didn't realize what was going on. He saw it later. He figured it out later because he saw the guy and wondered what he was doing. But the guy was recording him and his card. Zoomed in, got his numbers, and next thing you know, his ComData card got hacked. These people out here may not be the brightest, but they are resourceful, and they do know how to do it. And a lot of them are fairly bright, which is sad because, well, they put their talents towards actually making legitimate money, they'd be millionaires right now instead of thieves. But it's not that hard. It's not as hard to steal your information as you think. There's all sorts of crooks out here, all sorts of people out here, and these people don't give a damn. They will take you for as much as they can. So watch yourself, because ain't nobody else going to out here. Got a whole engine sitting here. I've been staring at this thing today. A lot to it. It's a pack car. You might can see where my radiator was leaking on this side. It was what sucked is it was leaking right underneath the nozzle, so we didn't know what was going on. What sucked is I was just a couple months out of warranty, so no warranty on this OEM radiator. What a pile. So yeah, anyways, like I was saying, part of the problem that we're having, like I said, is just fraud. But I know a lot of the things take a little more time and seem real counterproductive, but you're going to have to be really proactive out here to protect yourself. Like I said, nobody else is going to. It's your money. It's your hard-earned money, and these guys don't have a qualm about taking any of it from you. So watch yourself, protect yourself. You know, sometimes going as low tech as possible and just making a phone call to pay something is the best source of action, because it's a one-time thing and they never save any of the info. So that's good. But you know, your phones are the weakest link you have. As technology progresses, security gets weaker and weaker, and these crooks know it. So you're going to have to really start being a little more proactive. Like, guys, paying for things on your phone, Apple Pay, Google Pay, all that, don't get me wrong, they are tremendously convenient. But with this convenient comes a very serious cost, and that's something that you really need to be wary of. People don't think, oh, it's got security, it's got security. Nothing's secure, guys. If there's a security protocol, somebody's already figured out how to circumvent it. You need to remember that. So basically, as we wrap this video up, I'm just going to leave it here. If you got something worth taking, there's somebody out there that's going to try to take it. If you don't have anything worth taking, there's somebody out there who thinks you do. It doesn't matter what it is. Scammers are everywhere, and people are going to try to steal from you in every way possible. And this is how a lot of them do it. The scams are real on the road, and getting your cards hacked and getting your loyalty cards hacked and getting all of this stuff hacked is something you have to be real proactive on. So just watch yourself, guys. If the place carry cash on you, if the place seems sketchy, pay in cash. There's been a lot of truck stops where I've been like, you know, there's no way I would use my ATM card here. There's no way I'd use my credit card here. I pay in cash, get a receipt, and walk out because it's just better that way. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, protect your billfold, and protect your line of credit. There's all sorts of things you can do, and the fact that we go all over the country is reason enough for the bank not to notice any suspicious activity, because we are everywhere. So just be mindful, be careful, and we'll see you next video.